Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how to crochet the Granny Stitch Shawl. Now I'm using this Brava Tweed worsted weight yarn from We Crochet Official in 6 different colours. I'm loving how quick this works up, how it feels and how the tweed effect looks as well. We won't be doing the whole shawl today. I'll just get you started and that way you can do whatever size you want. We will regroup again a little later on and then when it's border time as well. To make this project you're going to need your yarn, and it doesn't matter what yarn you use, but you do need to make sure that your hook size corresponds with the yarn that you've got. So I'm using this Brava Tweed worsted weight yarn from We Crochet Official, and it is a 10 ply in Aussie terminology. So for a 10 ply you can either use a 5 or a 5.5mm hook. I have tried them both and I'm preferring the 5.5. Now you'll also need scissors and a darning needle, because if you're like me doing stripes, we will be sewing our yarn ends in quite a lot. You can also choose yarn that is just a single colour, so you have no yarn ends to worry about. The same with a variegated or a self-striping yarn. That just makes things nice and quick. It's a non-stop project then. But I'm going to do stripes, so I'll teach you how to do a magic ring and a standing starting stitch. Let's go and get into it. I'm using US terminology for this project, and I'm also using a magic ring to begin. Now I do a double because I've had singles come undone. So holding your yarn end in your left hand, wrap your yarn around 2 fingers twice. Pull up that loop with your hook, yarn over, and pull that loop through to make a chain. Now we need to make 4 chains to begin this project, so we'll add 3 more on. Now we're going to do 3 double crochets to make the granny cluster. 1, 2 and 3. I'm doing 2 chains, which is going to go down the spine of our shawl. You can do 3 if you would like. Doing another 3 double crochet cluster. Chain 1 and another double crochet. Now that is the beginning of our project, row number 1. Now what we need to do is grab your yarn end, pull that loop in, and whichever loop cinches in, pull that one back out. And it makes the other loop go in. Then you pull your yarn end and it cinches in both loops. So that's nice and secure. We're going to snip off our yarn here and pull that loop through. I'm going to darn in my yarn end, going behind the stitch, working my way through across the top of the stitches, so then it'll get crocheted over by the next round. Turning my work and going back, this time trying to break through a few of the fibres, which really helps it to stay firm. Now we'll do the yarn end for the magic circle, and then I won't need to show you any yarn ends from here on in. With the magic circle I go one way, but I do go in and out. I don't just send it around. I go in and out so we catch a few fibres. That's 2 and 3. Now I turn back, working into some slightly different areas. 2 and 3. Righto, let's cut that off. And that's our first row done. I'm going to leave this because I'll crochet over that at some stage. Now, if I wasn't using different colours for each row, I would be flipping my work. So I need to do the same thing. You may wonder why we can't just start on the right hand side, which would look like the top for each row. I just feel that it might get a sway up. You know how granny squares can get a sway up as well sometimes? And flipping your work helps to rectify that. So we're going to flip sides every second row. Grabbing your next colour, we're going to do a standing double crochet. So to make a slip knot, you pop your yarn around 2 fingers, pull that loop up with your hook, and there you have a movable slip knot. Yarning over, we're going to work into the top of the very last stitch that we made with a double crochet. And that's your standing double crochet. The reason I do a movable slip knot is so I can cinch that in and it doesn't hang out and look unsightly. Now we're going to chain 1. We're going to do a cluster into this first chain 1 space. So that's 3 double crochets. And you can see here how you're crocheting over the yarn end that we wove in. Now, I'm not going to do chains in between my clusters on the sides. So I'm going straight into the bottom space with 3 double crochet, chain 2, and 3 more double crochet. Now we bypass the cluster below and work into the next space with 3 double crochet, 1, 2, and 3. Now we make a chain 1 and do another double crochet. Okay, so that's our row number 2. I'm going to go off, darn in my yarn ends, and I'll meet you back here very soon. There we have row 1 and row 2. And now I'm going to flip my work again because this is the top side of row 2. So we want to start on the back side for row number 3. Pick up your yarn, making that slip knot again for a standing double crochet. Yarn over, pop your hook into the top of the stitch below. Make a double crochet, chain 1. Now we're going to do a cluster in the very next space. That's 3. Moving along, we'll do another cluster. 1, 2, and 3. I'll just throw my ball onto the floor so it rolls around for me. Now into this little center area with 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. I'm not chaining 1 in between these side clusters, so I'm going straight into the next space with 3 double crochet, 3 double crochet into the next space, now I do a chain 1 and a double crochet into the top of that very last stitch. There we go. Again, snip off the yarn end, pull that loop through, and I shall go and weave these in and be back with you soon. Now we've done row 1, 2, and 3. We need to flip our work again. Now if you're not changing colours every row, I'll show you what you need to do. If you're not changing colours each row, you will have yarn already attached, and what you need to do is go 1, 2, 3, and 4 chains and work directly into the next space. And continuing on. And that's how you begin each row, okay? But because I'm changing colours, I'm not attached to this row below, so I start with a standing stitch. Row number 4, I've flipped my work. We need to start with a movable slip knot, yarning over and doing a double crochet into the top of that first stitch. Pull that through, chain 1, and then tighten up that little unsightly knot. Yarn over, and we're going to do 3 double crochets into the first space. 1, 2 and 3. Moving along down the side now, we've started to develop a little bit of size, which is great. 1, 2 and 3. Now we're towards the centre with 1 granny cluster, chain 2 and another granny cluster in the same space. And another granny cluster in the same space. Working up the other side with 3 double crochets into each space. And into this very last one here that can be a little bit hidden. Finishing off here. Chaining 1 and doing another double crochet. Okay, now if you weren't changing colours, what you would do here, like I tried to explain before, is just do your 4 chains, turn your work and keep on going around. But because I'm changing colours, I need to snip off my yarn, pull that loop through and darn in the end. Now we're on to row number 5, so we need to flip our work, grab a new colour, make a slip knot, yarn over and do a double crochet into this stitch and a chain 1. Now I'm going to cinch in that little knot and yarn over and do 3 double crochets into this first space. It's 1, 2 and 3. Won't be long and we'll have lots of sides to crochet and less yarn ends to darn in. Just a little bit busy with yarn ends in the very beginning. 2 and 3. Now we're in the center corner. We do 1, 2 and 3 double crochet, 2 chains, 3 more double crochet. Gosh, this is going to be warm. I've not used yarn this thick before. What a treat. This is going to be so snug. Get myself some more yarn there. Continuing on with your double crochet clusters. And 3. One, 2 and 3. Now 1 more cluster in this last space. 1, 2 and 3. you actually need to go looking for that space because sometimes it stays closed up and is a bit hidden. Chaining 1, and now we're going to do a double crochet into the top of this very last stitch. Snip off my yarn, pull the loop out, and I'll be back with you in a sec. Now we're on to row number 6 with a new colour. We're going to flip our work, make a slip knot, yarn over, and pop your hook into the top of that stitch with a double crochet and a chain 1. Firm that little knot up, yarn over, and do 3 double crochet into the first space. Working your way along. This is really building very quickly in this 10-ply yarn. It's going to work up so quick. I'm just not used to that, and I think I'm liking it. It's just nice for a change. Especially when you make blankets in a double knit or an 8-ply. They do take a long time. Oh, and then the sock yarn, that's a whole nother kettle of fish, isn't it? Okay, chain 2, 3 more double crochet, continue along up the other side. Oops. 3 more double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. And 1 more cluster. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 1 and a double crochet into the top of this very last stitch. I'm having trouble getting that through. There we go. There we have our work. Snip off this yarn end, pulling that loop through, and time to darn our yarn ends in. Now we're on to row number 7. We need to flip our work, choose a new colour, do a slip knot on our hook, yarning over to do a double crochet into the top of that first stitch. That's your standing double crochet. Now cinch that little knot in, making 1 chain. We're going to do a cluster of double crochets into the first space. 3, now continuing on, 2 and 3. Granny clusters all the way down and all the way back. 1, 2, and 3. The beauty of this pattern is it is so simple. It's great for any level of crocheter, beginner to advanced. It does not matter because you can make this one your own in so many ways. 2 and 3, chain 2, chain 2, 3 more double crochets, clusters up the other side, grab some more yarn there. I'm at the end of my row. I need to do one last cluster in that little hidden space. Chain 1 and 1 double crochet into the top of that very last stitch. I'm actually going to have to use my needle. It's a little bit tight. So what you do is you grab your darning needle and you find the space where your hook needs to go. Loosen it a little if you can. And now we're going to chain 1 and pop a double crochet into that very last stitch. Snip off my yarn, pull that loop through, and time for darning yarn ends in. My plan for this was to do the same coloured stripes all the way through, but already that's been blown out of the water. I've wanted to use another colour and I can feel this bottle green coming on next. So it looks like I'm not going to have the same colour stripes all the way through. I'm going to go off and do some more of this and I'll come back and show you a little later on. Here I am, I've done 18 rows so far and I'm loving how quick this works up. I love how it looks, I love how it feels, and I'm going to take it on a little car trip with me tomorrow out of town. And then I'm hoping I'll still have plenty left to do because I would love to do a live with you, to catch up, do some crochet and drink a cuppa at the same time. I think that would be really nice. So let's aim for that one to happen. Yes, I think we will. Okay, everyone. Thanks for being here. Happy crocheting. Take care and I will see you again really soon. Bye for now.